Hey folks, today we are going to do some super fancy stuff with RepelIt.com and our programming software. We're going to go ahead and analyze some of our M&M data. My hope is that you folks brought in a lot of bags of M&Ms and that you have arranged them into beautiful shapes and that we have taken photos and that who knows, maybe you've even gobbled down a couple of M&Ms. But you definitely wrote down all of the counts of all the different colors of M&Ms that you got, and you uploaded them to a Google form. If you did not bring a lot of bags of M&Ms, then we are now using my backup data that I've got from previous years. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and start the process for analyzing this data. If we gathered up the data with a Google form, I will share the Google form with you, or I will share with you my backup data from previous years. Either way, I'm hoping that you're looking at a Google Sheet that has some data in it, just like this. Now, if for some reason I screwed up and I didn't get these labels correct here, like maybe I forgot and left them as questions, we'll go ahead and convert these to just simple one-word names of colors, like red, green, blue, yellow, orange, brown. In the data that I provide, if I provide any backup data, it'll have weight in it, but we're going to ignore that. We're only going to focus on colors today. Weight is for another day. It's for another lesson. Anyways, hopefully I've given you a sheet that has columns of data that include the counts of the M&Ms that you brought in. And so here what we're looking at, this row 3 would be one person and all the different M&Ms that they brought in their bag. And this row 4 would be another person and all the M&Ms they brought in. And then each column represents how many red M&Ms each student had and how many green and how many blues, etc. So that's an overview of the data. Now, what we want to do is we want to make it so that we can turn this into box plots. And it turns out Google Sheets does not make box plots of data and certainly doesn't do multiple box plots. So that's what we want to do. So we need to migrate this data. That's a super fancy data science term that's used all the time. We got to migrate our data from one place to another, right? From here to there. Anyways, the way we'll do that is we're going to go File, and we're going to go Download, and we're going to choose comma separated values, .csv. Okay, so again, you're looking at your Google Sheet, File, Download, comma separated values. You will then be asked where would you like to save this data, and we will choose I have a folder set up. I know exactly where it's going. You should choose a place where you know how to find the data, because in a minute you're going to need to find the data and upload it. I'm going to make the file name very simple so that I don't have all those extra characters in there. I'm going to just call it data, and since I've been doing this more than once, I'm going to call this data 1. I would like you to just call it, well, I'm going to call it data, so it's the same as yours. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And then I'm going to go over to repelit.com, and at repelit.com, you guys need to log in. If you have never signed up for Repelit, today's the day, and you're going to sign in using your Student at Learn account. Use the Google sign in. And then what are we going to do? Let me go ahead and back out for a second because I need to show you what to do. We need to, hold on one second. I got to figure out how to get out of here. Okay, I figured it out. Sorry about that. They changed a few things around on me on Repelit. Anyways, when you're at the Repelit homepage, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do Create. And then we're going to search for an R template. It'll be R space, and then hopefully it comes up in the list for you somewhere in here. For me, I just used it recently, so it's right at the top. And then we're going to name this data. And for me, I did this already, so I'm going to call it data 1. And then you're going to click on Create REPL. Okay. Now that we're in the REPL, based on R, up here you should see the little R symbol, the R logo. We're looking at files, and there's 3 dots to the right of files. And you're going to click on those 3 dots, and then you're going to choose Upload File. And then, for me, I set it up so that I can go directly to the folder with my data. You might have to search around a little bit for the folder, and then you click on your data file and choose to open it, and that should bring it up. And then if I click on the name of the data file in my little section here, I should see all the data. Yay! And again, if this stuff at the top doesn't look right, we're going to fix it. Like, for example, I don't need this M&M data, comma, 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 so I'm getting rid of that. And I'll go down to the next line and hit delete. And then make sure that these are just one-word descriptions of the color. You can use weight, you can leave weight in there. We're just not going to use it. Now, when you look down the data file, what we're looking at is each row of data is the various colors of the number of various colors of M&Ms that a particular student has brought in. This is another student. This is another student, and the number on the end is the weight, so that's why it's a much higher number. And the first number is always the number of reds. The second number is always the number of greens, and then blues. The way that our data was set up. Okay, now that we see that the data is there and we know that it kind of looks okay. By the way, the process of looking at the data and cleaning it up is known as pre-processing or cleaning the data. But that's a common thing that's done in data science. Anyways, we're going to go back to main.r and get rid of the print hello world. And we're going to begin to write some code. One thing we're going to do is try to read all the data in from that file. And we're going to read it into a variable called data, D-A-T-A. And we'll set that equal to read.csv. And we will do double quote mmdata.csv. Now, you don't have to do mmdata.csv. You just have to type there exactly the name of the file that you have here. Okay. All right, so hopefully you can get that done. Then just to check and make sure it works, we're going to do print data. And if we're lucky, over here in the console, we will see all of that data. Yay, beautiful, woohoo. Okay, now that we've done all that, we're going to go and try to get the data into a box plot or into a bunch of box plots. And the way we'll do that is we're going to go boxplot, open parentheses, data, $reds. Now, the reds is going to work for me because when I go to look at my data file, one of the headings is reds. If your heading does not say reds, then this code is not going to work for you, okay? You have to put here whatever is the heading over here. And I'm going to repeat this. By the way, the data is just from this word here, from this variable name. So that we will keep repeating over and over. So we're going to go data $reds, data $greens. Again, whatever your header it says, comma space data $blues, comma. I'm going to hit the enter key so that I can keep it all on the same screen so you can see it. Data $yellows, comma, data $oranges, comma, data $browns, comma, enter. And then COL for color equals lowercase c, open parentheses, comma, RED, get past the single quote, comma. By the way, notice I am using single quotes, also known as an apostrophe. Single quote, GREEN. Now this time I'm just doing label. These are just this is just what the, this is the names of the colors. So I have to spell these exactly correctly and I have to use quotes. Comma, quote, blue, go past the comma, past the apostrophe, and then comma. And then I'm going to go to the next line and go quote yellow, go past the quote, comma, quote orange, go past the orange, comma, quote brown. And if you guys get this, I'm going to go ahead, probably while I'm showing this video, I'll pause it for you. If you're doing this on your own at home, definitely pause the video and make sure you're following me exactly. And I'm just kind of curious to see whether this works. So what this is supposed to do is supposed to give me box plots of each of the colors, and it's supposed to color code them so when I'm looking at the box plot, I can instantly see which color it represents. So this is some super fancy, super cool stuff that not everybody gets to do. Who knows? We may be one of the only classes in high school in America that does this activity. But I will tell you this, there's certainly plenty of people in the workplace who are getting paid good money to use our programming software in order to process statistics like we are today. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit run and let us pray. A lot of times you'll hit run and some troubleshooting needs to be done. Let's see. So I hit run, and I can see in the console that this is the print data. That's what all this is. And if I go to the very bottom, I don't see any error message. So yay! Also notice that our plots.pdf has appeared over here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to see if I can drag that our plots over to here. If I can, I'm going to click on it and drag it all the way over to here, and we'll see. Does that work? Maybe, maybe not. Doesn't look like it's working. Okay, let me figure out what's going on. All right, it wasn't a simple, straightforward fix, so I'm going to try to troubleshoot while you're watching. I'm going to just try clicking on our plots.pdf and see what happens. And it replaces my middle screen, but oh, isn't that pretty? Yeah, hopefully we're doing this with your class's data, because I'm really kind of curious how it compares to my data from previous years. And by the way, this isn't just the data from one class, it's the data from two classes combined together. And you'll notice these are modified box plots so you can see where the outliers are. Hopefully you find it to be kind of interesting. Anyways, let me see if I can make it so that you can, when you do this, you can turn it in and get credit from me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try this. I'm going to try turning this back into the code by clicking on the little plus sign up here and then choosing main.r. so I can see my code. And then over here, I'm going to click on the plus sign and click on rplots.pdf so that the box plots are showing. And then I'm going to go ahead and throw an extra line of code at the top. I'll click there and hit enter, and then hashtag, and then my name. And here you will do the same thing I just did. You'll put a hashtag in, and then you'll put your name, and then you can go ahead and run the screenshot software on your computer, and you're going to take a screenshot that goes all the way across. Let's see. What I'd like to see is make sure you capture your name in the code, and also the box plot graph over here. So you're gonna capture just your name and the code, and then go all the way down to the box plot, and then you're gonna save that to a file and then upload that to Canvas to get credit for this activity. All right, I believe that's everything that I wanted to show you, and hopefully your live instructor is going to fill in some details and take it from here.